All right, Jessica, what's in your journal today?
This is Jess's journal. I thought you'd never ask, Robbie. So while many speculate that Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, will be Kamala Harris's running mate, others are busy having their hearts captured by Tim Walz. The Minnesota governor brings a different approach to politics than anyone I've seen in this country.
How are you going to build a water treatment plant in a town of 400 if you don't have a collective effort at it? So I have to tell you, they scream socialism. We just build roads and we build schools and we build prosperity into this. Their whole plan is to go backwards, to give tax cuts to the wealthy. And look, it was so surprising. You know, these super successful Donald Trump, who inherited $400 million and then proceeded to fail at everything. Middle America, you earn it. But you know what? You're not on your own. Neighbors help neighbors. And I will, this one bothers me. I heard you talking about punching back at the bullies. They see people less fortunate as scapegoats and you know, punchlines for their jokes. We see them as neighbors. And I said it with my mom. My dad dies when my little brother's young. We're teenagers. We get Social Security survivor benefits. I'm all for pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. We didn't have any boots. Social Security was the boots, and we pulled ourselves up, and we paid that back. And I think J.D. Vance gets none of that. You know, it's the aw shucks, I'm from here or whatever. So my hillbilly cousins did not go to Yale, but I'll tell you what they did. They contributed to our community, and they're proud of it.
Tim Walz also brings a new energy to the gun control debate. Here he is with Anderson Cooper.
That's what J.D. Vance's stick is, talking about guns. I guarantee you he can't shoot pheasants like I can. And that's a part of saying, but you know what? I guarantee I don't want weapons of war in classrooms, and there's no reason that you can't have reasonable restrictions around that without infringing on your Second Amendment. He's going in there throwing these things around that makes a difference. Democrats need to go into these places. I'm going to go in every Legion Hall I can go into and say, Vice President Harris will not cut your benefits. I sat in the VA committee for 12 years to increase those benefits with Republicans like Jeff Miller from Florida. This guy wants to cut them because it's in the 2025. We need to be bolder on that. We need to go out and say that.
His takes on veterans' benefits, on gun control, and building roads and schools are all part of his common sense approach to demanding, or rather defending, programs that people rely on. And Tim Walz is, I think, the antidote to a politics that's been overwhelmingly cultural and vibes-based. Our leaders need to be focused on delivering policy.
These are weird people on the other side. They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. That's what it comes down to. And don't, get sugarcoating this. These are weird ideas. Listen to them speak. Listen how they talk about things. Listen to how your previous guests were right. Like you said, they've told them that they shouldn't talk about race. They can't help it. It is built into their DNA because there is no plan. There's no health care plan. There's no health care plan. There's nothing to do on this. They want to take away our alliances and leave Russia to do whatever they want. Look, they are bad on foreign policy. They are bad on the environment. They certainly have no health care plan. And they keep talking about the middle class that, as I said, a robber baron real estate guy and a venture capitalist trying to tell us they understand who we are. They don't know who we are.
Tim Walz isn't just a good nighttime news guest. He's got the perspective of a regular guy from the Midwest. He's not a Wall Street, Silicon Valley, or DC politician.
Hey, Minnesota, Governor Walz here, out at the State Fair with my daughter.
Hope.
Every year we as a family do something old and something new. I get to pick something, a classic, the old mill ride, to do that. And then Hope gets to pick something new.
I think we're gonna go do the slingshot.
Which I don't know what it is, and they're keeping it from me. But then we're gonna go get some food, corn dog.
I'm vegetarian.
Turkey then. And
Turkey's meat.
Not in Minnesota, turkey special. And we will go do some of those things and report back.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Woo! Oh my God! Yes! Oh my God! It keeps going.
Yes!
That was good. Good job, Dad.
Oh, thanks, Hope.
He can dress down and not look like he's cosplaying as a working class guy like so many other politicians do when they put on their casual clothes. He puts on camo and a ball cap and just looks like a regular guy. And there's a little wear and tear on his casual clothes, so you know he actually puts them on regularly. This is to say, Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party don't just need to move on from Trump. They need to move on from Biden and from Hillary. They need to ditch the establishment elites who not only ruin the vibes that Dems tend to run on, they quash any real policy change. There's a reason Tim Walz was written off by the establishment from the start. Rahm Emanuel, who, as chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee at the time, didn't think Walz could win. When he was asked about Walz, he said, no, he has no money, no nothing. And then he won with a grassroots campaign. And while his policies to feed kids in school and protect benefits earned him all kinds of backlash, it really makes you question why the politicians who fight for the little guy get a bad rep, while the ones who are friends with Wall Street executives in Silicon Valley are labeled good for the economy. The last time I checked, they both needed bailouts. The working class has never gotten a bailout. And while J.D. Vance calls them lazy, Tim Walz ushers in a new future and a new politics.
Good one Minnesota morning. 2.5 million people showed up last November and cast votes. They made a choice. They chose hope over fear. They chose inclusion over exclusion. They chose personal freedoms over totalitarian dictates from government. They chose science over conspiracy. Above all else, though, they chose action over gridlock. Time and time again, they said it's not hard to vote your conscience for what's good for your people. It's not about banking political capital for the next election. It's about burning political capital to improve lives. It will be proven no more effective members have ever sat in this chamber and did the work than this group you see right in front of you.
Harris is taking notes. She knows the rent is too damn high.
On day one, I will take on price gouging and bring down costs. We will ban more of those hidden fees and surprise late charges that banks and other companies use to pad their profits. We will take on corporate landlords and cap unfair rent increases. And we will take on Big Pharma to cap prescription drug costs for all Americans. Our plan will lower costs and save many middle-class families thousands of dollars a year.
In my opinion, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania would be a step backwards, as most of the left is criticizing Trump over corporate tax cuts. Shapiro advocates for them. As the left defends investment in public schools so everyone can benefit, Shapiro has pushed school vouchers for private schools for the few. As Kamala is tested by progressives on Palestine and young people who demonstrated on college campuses for Palestine, Shapiro equated those protesters with KKK members. Tim Walz is the guy. Josh Shapiro is not our guy. So that's how I feel about it all, Robbie. That's what's on Jess's journal. I made a little Tim Walz picture, a little doodle.
I can see that you're a big fan.
It's really what's in my journal.
Look, I think he would be a perfectly adequate choice for Kamala Harris as a VP. My sense is that things are leaning in the direction of Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, because that's a really must-win state and would help Kamala compete in that state. He's extremely popular in Pennsylvania, even among Republicans. His favorability among Republicans is very high. So I think it's ultimately just going to be a political calculation. But Tim Walz is good at talking to the folks, good at talking to Republicans, and I don't agree with his policies, but he's a fine, well-spoken political choice for her.
Yeah, I think that this idea that the Dems seem to have, you're right, that if they pick Shapiro, they'll definitely win Pennsylvania. They've obviously seen some internal polling that shows there's some truth to picking a candidate from a state that makes them win. I do
That's about
believe,
all the VP pick can do, really.
but I think that Tim Walz is someone who can speak to working class Pennsylvanians in a way that maybe Josh Shapiro can't. And I think that Josh Shapiro, as someone who grew up in a working class family, does have the vibe, to me, of a typical politician in a way that Tim Walz doesn't. And so, sure, Josh Shapiro might deliver you Pennsylvania, But will he hurt you in other states across Appalachia in the United States? Will he hurt you in North Carolina? Will he hurt you in Minnesota and the Midwest? And so I think Tim Walz is the kind of guy that can win Pennsylvania, even if he's not from there. Just because I think he speaks to what working class people want, which is a common sense approach to economics and someone they can trust who understands where they come from. And I think Tim Walz captures that in a way that no one else does. And I think Kamala Harris would be making a mistake to pick Shapiro over him, also because the youth like Tim Walz. We had Victoria Hammond on who mentioned Andy Bashir. He's kind of the compromise candidate at this point. It seems that most progressives are behind Tim Walz. And as you said yesterday as well, it's not just about casting ballots in November with the youth vote. These are a lot of the people who staff up campaigns, who are out knocking doors, who are posting on social media. You kind of need that manpower. And can Kamala Harris win without that? I'm not sure, and Josh Shapiro might cost it for her.
Well, Kamala Harris has said she will announce her VP pick, I think, by next Tuesday, and so we will probably know very soon in the coming days, maybe over the weekend, who it will be, whether it's Tim Walz or someone else. More Rising right after this.